Hello, now you can start.
So, topic is which is internet.
But your voice is not clear.
Hello. So,
Resume. Now start.
so the topic is books versus internet. So, books have been known to us traditionally. We had been in process since the time we start our education journey. So, we have been associated with books. It contains a sort of emotional value in our life. We had been since we are since our association with books from the childhood. So it is deep in our head that whatever we gain from books, whatever we gain from the books, especially whatever we read, we can retain for longer. However, that's not the case with internet because books contain a sort of streamlined information, but internet has a wide range of information. Sometimes you might not able to retain it, and as we all know that people generally resist the change because now is the era of digitization. So the old people who had for most part of their lives, they have been associated with books. They have read the books, so it is difficult for them to adapt to the new changes with the internet. So they might not regard this as a better option, an option which can replace the books. Goes with the letters as well, because we again the emotional values which it has, because today in the era of WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram messaging, so the value which the letters held uh, earlier times, the same is not there with the means of communication we have right now, which are present on the internet. Let's take an example. Example, the newspaper. Suppose I read the newspaper Hindu. So the experience totally changes, because something which you can have, which you can touch, and which you can feel, and which you can read has a different impact in your brain, and which does not help. Uh, which you with the same experience you will not get when you read the newspaper online. So that is one thing, and internet can be hazardous in many ways, if given in wrong hands, it might cause an issue, like the terrorist activities, anything. But with books, you cannot change the mindset of people. Usually, books are censored. It has been checked, republished. That way, we can make sure that the information which is contained in books will not be used as a wrong means. So
Okay,
that's all.
so that's enough. So have you read any book recently?
Yeah, sir, I read the Organization Development Practitioner's Guide for OD in HR. So it was written by Linda Holbeck and me and Jen.
Okay, so can you tell me what was the structure of that book?
Okay, so it started with the preface and it started with the contents of the pages. Then we had the figures, the numbering of the pages, figures, examples. Then there was a history and the subsequent chapters on OD and HR.
Okay, so other than OD book,
Not recently.
so when was the last time when you read book?
It was 2 months back. I read the book, The Art of Thinking Clearly.
Art of?
Thinking Clearly.
Okay, so what was the structure of that book?
It was mostly it also started with the content and the stories. It was a mixed bag of stories where the author, he had written his experiences, and he has explained the art of thinking clearly, as the book suggests. The When his thoughts were blurred, and when the clarity of thoughts can happen based on the stories, based on his real life experiences. So that way the entire book was structured.
Yeah. So what was the key learning from that book?
Sir, what I understood, in my opinion, is that the author was trying to convey that you can learn from each and every experience of your life. Like, it's not every time necessary that you have the clarity of thinking, because it's an ongoing process, and you at every point of time it's not necessary that you with the clarity of thought, you can take the best decision and best steps in your life. So it's a process, and you have to adapt to that process. So that was there.
Okay. So this was the key learning of that book.
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
learned that.
So Sika, you have around 2.5 year of work experience, I think.
It's a 2.11, close to 3.
Approx to three and two different companies. So if I'll ask you to compare the HR practices of these two companies, how do you do that?
So, sir, HR practices, I saw the difference in definitely the orientation. So earlier in the earlier company, it was not virtual, but due to lockdown, I joined the current company, which is Legato Health Technologies. In lockdown, so it was more of a virtual mode, so less interaction, of course. So in Deloitte, which is my previous firm, so there we had this amazing orientation happen after some days of training. So before the orientation, we were known about the leaders, like we were known about the leaders and the managers under whom we'll be working. So that they took care of it. So as to let the new professionals, the new joiners, be aware of the entire ecosystem that they'll be entering into. So after a month of training, we were given the orientation with the W2D program, Welcome to Deloitte program. That didn't happen in Legato. On the very first day, there was an orientation, and they explained us all the policies, and then we went ahead with that. And then I entered in Deloitte. So that's as it's a big campus. So they have this amazing. There's an app for that methodology where for anything, whether it has be it canteen, be it going to any finding any conference room, or finding a place to eat, finding a place to for recreational activity place. Also, there is sort of app where you can just enter and you can get to that place. But in Legato, I did not find that. That's one difference. The learning and development entire process is a different thing there. It is being updated every month. Like our portal, we have to update our present skills and our expectation, our goals. We can set our goals on our own and let our managers know and our coaches know. So being a coach, it was a responsibility of us only to make sure that you can let your managers know about your goals. But here we have a three to 4 month a quarter process where we have a one-on-one
Okay,
conversation
so
with our
so
leads.
so now the second question for you would be, uh, why do you want to do OD program at TESS or post graduation in OD? So you can frame it in any way.
Okay, yes, sir. So as I mentioned, there are many. I felt in Deloitte, I felt that there was more employee engagement, a better experience. I got to know, uh, and Legato there was a little more inclination towards the technicality. I was able to grow technically very sound in Legato, but not with the social development, the human development. I did not find that. And after much research and deep digging into what was different among both the organization, I felt that this because of the robust OD and HR practices, which were being followed in my previous organization. So and also I have this aspiration of moving from a management role to from a technical to a management role and get into the leadership roles even further. So I think that the OD course will shorten that time, and OD course equips the skill of the understanding all the. It makes you more human centric also, and given the boom of globalization where we see the lot of changes coming into being, I think OD will help me OD will it will help me to understand the interventions that can be created through that. I can be a very important part of the organization and a person who can be in the process of leading the change. So hence I felt that it will do good to people as well and the economy. Hence OD from this.
Okay, so did you know OD before applying this program also?
No, sir. While I was when I was applying, I got to know that there are two courses from this. So I did some research on that, and
Mm,
then I got to know about ODCL program.
okay. So why, like we have introduced this course in just last 3 to 4 year before, and OD is not in our management books as per as a course or something like PG degree course. So we always studied it as a part of human resource specialization, or uh, uh, one can also study, or few management programs also have introduced this as a core subject also. So in recent times, so why do you think that in recent times OD has grown, or OD, the importance of OD has grown in Indian context?
Sir, India is said to be a service-based economy. We have so many foreign players into play. So we are seeing that there are a lot of MSMEs and startups which are becoming slowly obsolete because of non-OD practices, because they're not able to adapt to the changes and the adaptation of the technology and new changes into them. So I think this could be one of the reasons for OD, and we could see that not only small organization, even the bigger organization like Amazon's the Amazon's program of employee retraining, in which they are spending $7 million, so that they have the cutting edge technology and employees are well versed with it. We can take another example of Walmart, given that the other online retailers which is giving a high competition to it like Amazon. So they have understood that there is a competition coming. We have to keep ourselves updated with the coming changes, because we never know when we can face the competition, and we have to make our workforce be up to that level and with cutting edge technology. So I think this could be one of the reasons for organization development course as a specialization. That's the reason. And there was not much clarity earlier on OD. It was taken as a part of HR, but during my research I found out that HR OD organization development is more of a process, and HR is more functional. So these are both different. But it's a part of HR, we could say, but the process is different when we go deep into it. So, sir, it is beneficial also, and hence it could be the reason that it was introduced.
Okay. So you have studied chemistry, sorry, computer science in your graduation. So can you tell me what is OOPS?
Object-oriented programming.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, an
So
object-oriented
we
program.
call it OOPS or just OOP?
We call it groups.
So what stands for S?
I don't remember, sir, but I know it's object-oriented programming.
So if it is just object oriented programming, it would be called OOP, not OOPS. Okay, tell me what it is.
So in object-oriented programming, we can create objects. Then there's inheritance. So we can make classes, and we can extend the functioning of it. And there are certain other. So it's a very I can remember that much right now.
We cannot remember that.
Yeah,
So have you ever read about CMM, CMM model?
I have to read about it.
Okay. So have you ever read about software development cycle?
Yes, sir. I have read about it.
Can you give me detail of that?
Yes, sir. So the software development cycle starts from the requirement. Where the requirement comes, the analysis is done based on that, and after the analysis, the coding is done. After the coding is done, then the coding is done. Then we have this testing phase, in which we have three types of testing. We have unit testing, which is done by the developers when the when the code job is made, when the coding is done. Then we have system integration testing, when we have to integrate two systems together. Just is not a component, but we check there is not a breakage into the system where the coding is done. After that, after SIT, after system integration testing is done, we go to user acceptance testing, in which we do not test the system breakage, but we test from the user's perspective, like what could be, what mistakes could user do, and that can result in potential bugs in the production, the real life scenario. So after passing the, it goes into production, and then the business reviews it, and then it becomes live. So this is the entire details.
So, do you know about ERP?
So I have to double check.
No, you don't have any. So tell me how your computer science graduation or learnings from computer science graduation can help you, or you can directly use those concepts in OD. Matlab, like whatever OD idea about OD you do have from the books or the research that you have done for OD. So could you relate anything which your subject knowledge can be directly utilized there?
Yes, sir. So there was a subject in my graduation, in the last semester of my graduation, that was data mining. In that, I could relate to the diagnosis process of OD, where the OD practitioners collect the data from the surveys, and they try to implement the process, and they tend to, then that's what they do in evaluation. So I came up with so we were asked to read, we're supposed to read a lot of case studies and understand. So case studies were introduced to me in that particular course, and we were made to come up with solutions. And then I got to know what could be the real life scenario. So real life scenarios and working in the user acceptance testing team in Legato as well. So it really helped me there, where I could I'm involved in the analysis process, and then developing the scripts, executing them, like we do in implementation in what OD practitioners work with. So it
Okay,
very much
Asika. So,
resonates with the work
so
I do.
uh, can you explain, or can you not explain actually? Can you tell me about the recent shuffling of, or recent uh, expansion of ministry that happened in Prime Minister Narendra Modi government? So do you have any idea about that?
Yes, sir, I have some great idea on it. So the ministry shuffling is done because not much work was done during the pandemic, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted to make sure that the new ministry, the cabinet ministry which we'll be having, is more, has a good background, be it education. He wanted more youth, so we can see around 50, 45 to 50 years of age, young ministers with the new mindset. So we have Jyotiradi Singh, who is 50 years old, and he's the civil aviation minister. That shift was done. Then we have education minister. Uh, I couldn't recall the names right now.
So what how OD can be useful in a government-based organization also?
So government-based organization is mostly bureaucratic. You could see it's a very top-down approach. So many a times you can feel that the voices of the people who are in the ground level, or who are not to the top, it's difficult to get their voices heard. So many a times it's a possibility that the ecosystem is not very engaging for them, and the new ideas, the kind of satisfaction, the values, they're not up to the match. So if the introduction of OD will make sure, the interventions will make sure that their voices are heard, because more inclusion will take place, and based on the surveys the OT practitioners will do, and the interventions they'll come up with will involve more engaging from people from all the levels. So I think that will be very beneficial. And we could see that let's take an example of PSU. So there and public sector undertakings again, it's again a very non very not very democratic model, where the people on the bottom might not have access, and their voices might not be heard to the top, the people leaders sitting at the top.
Okay, Sika.
So that
So,
way the help.
the thing is that your education is just graduation, a 3 year graduation in computer science honors, and all your experiences is mostly on technical side, and I haven't had got any role in leadership or management side, management related. Yeah, KRS, you never got this, and also you don't have very bright or fair idea of all the like uh, technical terms that I asked you today, or neither you do have a good level of general awareness. So how do you find that you are? How do you find that you can be a very good student or a very good part of this ODCL program?
So because when I was into my previous organization, there I was involved in many activities which involved people meeting with a lot of people, and for example, let's have fun Fridays and wellness Wednesdays, and I was a part of the team which organized events, sports events, where I get to meet a lot of people apart from the mundane work that we do. So these all activities which I did, then I think I'm able to manage. I will be able to manage post the skill which I'll be getting after I pursue the OD course. So
Okay, thank you very much. तो जैसे इसीलिए हम लोग कंटिन्यूअस फीडबैक वाला रखते हैं, क्योंकि हम लोग क्वेश्चन भूल जाते हैं कई बार, और आज मैंने पेन पेपर भी नहीं लिया था कुछ रिकॉल करने के लिए, बट स्टिल आई विल टेल यू। जैसे जैसे स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द बुक थोड़ा और अच्छे से डिफाइन कर सकती थी तुम, है ना, कि क्या क्या पढ़ाया, रेदर देन जस्ट आस्क टेलिंग मी द इंडेक्स कि कहाँ पे क्या था, है ना। तो मतलब इन टर्म ऑफ नॉलेज वाइज कि पहले ये पढ़ाया, फिर ये पढ़ाया, फिर ये पढ़ाया, ठीक है। मतलब यू डोंट हैव टू टेल द चैप्टर्स नेम एंड एवरीथिंग, तो बट उस पर थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंडिंग वाइज तुम बताते कि पहले ये चीज़ समझाने की कोशिश की, फिर बैकग्राउंड बनाया, है ना, देन कंटिन्यूस आगे के चैप्टर्स में उस पे उसको रिजॉल्व किया गया। तो इस तरीके से दूसरा क्या है कि कुछ कुछ जैसे कंप्यूटर साइंस में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इंपॉर्टेंट कंसेप्ट्स हैं, सीएमएम मॉडल विच इज बेसिकली यूज्ड बाय ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आल्सो, कि इंटरप्राइज, जैसे सीएमएम मॉडल इज कैपेबिलिटी मैच्योरिटी मॉडल। तो ये सॉफ्टवेयर के लिए हम लोग यूज करते हैं, कार्नेजी मिलान यूनिवर्सिटी ने इसको डेवलप किया था। तो एक होता है छोटा सॉफ्टवेयर, जैसे मतलब कोई पर्टिकुलर पर्पस के लिए हम क्रिएट करते हैं, एक होता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वाइड सॉफ्टवेयर। तो बड़े सॉफ्टवेयर के लिए जिसमें कई सारे डिपार्टमेंट और कई सारा डेटा वगैरह, मतलब एक वाइड स्प्रेड वो फंक्शनैलिटी वाला जो सॉफ्टवेयर है, उसके लिए हम लोग सीएमएम मॉडल यूज करते हैं, विच बेसिकली सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट साइकिल का एक अपग्रेडेड वर्जन है, ठीक है। तो सीएमएम मॉडल में भी हम लोग वही करते हैं कि पहले सारे वो प्रोग्रामिंग करके उसको एक बार उसको रन कराने की कोशिश करते हैं, फिर उसको डिफरेंट डिफरेंट आइटरेशन के बाद उसको फिक्स करते हैं, फिर उसको राइट करते हैं, डिफाइन करते हैं, फिर मैनेज करते हैं बीच बीच में जो भी चेंज रिक्वायरमेंट होता है, बाद में उसको ऑप्टिमाइज करते हैं। सो दिस इज हाउ दैट साइकिल गोज। तो इसको पढ़ लेना सीएम, क्योंकि बीच में तो ये भी होता था कि वी ऑलवेज यूज टू चेक कि विच कंपनी एट व्हाट लेवल सीएमएम, व्हाट सीएमएम लेवल। तो बड़ा प्रोमिनेंट वो होता था कि हम लोग कोई जॉब छोड़ के जाएं किसी नए कंपनी में, सीएमएम 4 से सीएमएम 3 पे ना जाए, है ना। तो इस तरह का भी होता था। और फिर ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। वो
वो
डेवलप होने के
रिवाइज कर
बाद,
लेंगे।
हाँ, वो डेवलप होने के बाद ही कंप्यूटर जो है वो इतना यूजफुल हो पाया हमारे लिए। वो क्या होता था पहले कि सारे प्रोग्राम्स ना हम एक ही सीक्वेंस में लिखते जाते थे सारा। तो उससे क्या होता था कि अगर मान लो कहीं पर्टिकुलर प्लेस पे गड़बड़ है या पर्टिकुलर चीज में गड़बड़ है, या फिर तुमने प्रोग्राम कर दिया और जो नया बंदा आया वो प्रोग्राम को देख रहा था, उसको समझ ही नहीं आया क्या प्रोग्राम है। तो ये क्या करते हैं कि ऑब्जेक्ट प्रोग्राम को डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट में बांट देते हैं, सो दैट कि अगर आपको किसी पर्टिकुलर पार्ट में चेंज करना है तो पूरे प्रोग्राम को छेड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप वहीं पे उसको चेंज कर पाओगे। समझ में आ गई बात? तो उसको इंडिपेंडेंट सेट्स ऑफ प्रोग्राम्स को हमने अलग अलग ऑब्जेक्ट का नाम दे दिया। तो दैट वाज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वो। फिर उसके बाद हमने क्या पूछा था तुमसे? हाँ, सो व्हाई डू वांट टू गो फॉर ओडी, वो तुमने अच्छा हमारा जो डेव डिस्कशन था उसके हिसाब से तुमने बताया। बट इसको लास्ट में जो तुमने बोला, दैट लाइन वाज नॉट इन, दैट पर्टिकुलर टर्म वाज नॉट इन सिंक, अदरवाइज सब अच्छा लग रहा था। विच वाज हाँ, कि जैसे टेक्निकल जॉब से लेके तो मैनेजमेंट और फर्दर यू वुड लाइक टू गो फॉर लीडरशिप रोल्स, सो ये आपको लूप देगा। ये तक तो ठीक था, बट वन सेंटेंस दैट यू टोल्ड वाज बेसिकली, ओके हम इसको रिकॉर्डिंग देख के आई कैन रिकॉल, ठीक है। बट तुम्हें खुद भी पता चल जाएगा कि क्या इसमें इशू रहा होगा रहेगा, ठीक है। थोड़ा डेप्थ चाहिए, अदरवाइज इंटरव्यू तो तुम्हारा ठीक था, मतलब यू डिड आंसर एवरीथिंग, और लॉजिकल फ्लो भी था तुम्हारे स्टेटमेंट्स वगैरह में, बट द कंटेंट वाइज इट कुड बी बेटर, है ना? ठीक है, कुछ पूछना है तुम्हें?